The purification method from above. The purification methods written in this book originate from above. They are not man-made. They come from a higher, more sacred source. Purification is a truth, a reality you will begin to assimilate as you delve deeper. Regardless of what you believe, God, the universe, truth, or the Creator, if you simply believe all of humanity is currently drifting together on this rock, you should know that the information on purification in this book is entirely different from all the external noise. It comes from a different place. It is not a random jumble of misleading information, nor vague, recycled advertisements. It is truth, and it is effective. Purification is also what the world urgently demands. Chronic illnesses are increasing at an alarming rate. Even with the massive amounts of organic food being cultivated today, our awareness of eliminating processed foods from our diet and the newest healing modalities, disease still persists in unprecedented ways. No one can escape illness unless they receive the right information to stop that ticking clock. This requires a greater force than ourselves, a saving hand extended from above. 28. The body heals itself. Detox for recovery. An unseen army. What if I told you there are thousands of people currently hidden from the world? What if I told you there are hundreds of thousands? What if I told you there are actually millions? These are individuals using their last bit of strength to grab necessities at stores during off-peak hours, when they know there won't be many people. These are individuals too unwell to casually go out for dinner and a movie. These are individuals who have missed birthday parties, engagement parties, bachelorette parties, weddings and child baptisms of their closest friends. They've missed everything because they simply don't have the energy. They don't even have the energy to go buy a toothbrush. Do you think there are only a few people like this? There's an entire army of them. Many of them have found advanced healing information in this book series and have begun their own healing processes, recovering enough to reintegrate into the world. But there are still many more who haven't yet found this information. I call chronically ill individuals the forgotten souls. Illness is an excuse for us to overlook them, and then we forget their existence. Because they have to live their lives without drawing attention sometimes, they don't even have the energy to converse when the opportunity arises. Often don't remember them when we're busy with our own lives. Alternatively, they might have just enough strength to maintain their daily routines, perhaps sitting in the cubicle next to you at work, or appearing at school during pickup drop-off, leading you to believe everything is fine. When you see them, you might think there's nothing wrong. Wow, you look so fresh. You might say to someone struggling with an illness, thinking you're being helpful. What you don't see is the pain, dizziness, fluctuating body temperature, burning sensations, anxiety, depression, negative thoughts, fear, brain fog, and exhaustion, all without a viable solution in sight. We cannot see our friends' minds overwhelmed by doctors' appointments and the worry of finding resources to sustain their personal lives. We cannot see their desire for others to acknowledge and accept their current condition, or their yearning for encouragement that one day their situation will improve. Whether we see them with our own eyes or not, this army is out there. Whether we respect them, ignore them, or forget them, the number of people suffering from mental and physical illnesses today is many times greater than it was 30 years ago, 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago. Anthony William, 29. True awareness: no one is exempt from the risk of illness. Given what we face in the world today, and how it impacts our bodies, no one can guarantee they won't develop their first symptom when they least expect it. Becoming aware of this isn't meant to make you live in fear, but rather to make you stop living in denial. How many of your acquaintances are struggling with their health? Chances are, most of them are, whether they show it or not. And it's highly probable that you are one of them, even if you're dealing with acid reflux, high blood pressure, anxiety, eczema, psoriasis, brain fog, depression, or exhaustion. But you are not alone. Living with chronic symptoms has become the new normal. Most of the time, people live with their illnesses, accepting them without questioning why science hasn't offered solutions, even as suffering has become an undeniable reality. Nevertheless, sometimes these symptoms begin to hinder their quality of life, and this sometimes is becoming more frequent. They start to lose their joy in life and their privileges. They join the unseen army of people living quietly at home or in hospitals, dealing with mysterious health issues. As they go from one doctor to another, from one specialist to another, still struggling with daily activities, their hope begins to fade. They lose hope. Awareness is a term we all use today. It carries a multitude of meanings. Touted as a powerful and empowering concept, it is supposed to help us harmonize with our reality, with those we spend time with, and navigate our days. However, what good is awareness if we don't recognize what is truly happening within our own bodies? What good is awareness if we don't grasp the truth that we are increasingly facing more challenges from symptoms, conditions, and illnesses in our lives? 30. The body heals itself. Detox for recovery today. It seems everyone is a health expert. They're sharing their opinions on what works or doesn't work for them. This is easy to do when you're not suffering from chronic illness and remain unaware of potential misconceptions. When you're 20, making a protein powder or almond butter smoothie, or following a high-protein, grain-free diet, and then sharing on social media how wonderful you feel, that's just a fleeting moment. Even if you feel invincible and are sharing about the powerful changes you perceive from your trendy diet and exercise routine, you're still unaware of what might be developing within your body, something that's beginning to go astray, as well as what you'll face in the future. In the long run, new or past exposures, which are currently causing unseen problems, can lead to conditions like encephalomyelitis chronic fatigue syndrome (MEFS), or any of countless other symptoms and conditions, if we don't gain true awareness of what's causing these issues. Is detoxification an illusion? A rising belief in the medical community suggests that we don't need special detoxification methods because the body handles it naturally. Some health professionals even go further, claiming that detoxification methods don't actually detoxify anything. This assertion is merely a strong reaction to unhealthy detoxification practices of the past and present a careless, reckless detox industry with powders, books, and programs not designed according to the body's true functions or needs. Consequently, dietitians, nutritionists, and other experts attempt to safeguard patients' health by advising that the body's natural detoxification mechanisms are sufficient. However, they fail to realize that they lack complete information when giving such advice. They haven't been fully trained on how the body truly operates in the field of detoxification. Anthony William, 31. What these experts don't understand is that we are not just dealing with everyday toxins. We also face pathogens, viruses and bacteria rapidly spreading through the community, causing autoimmune diseases and many other symptoms for everyone, from children to the elderly. We also face heavy metal toxins, pesticides, herbicides, solvents, petrochemicals, and various other chemical weapons that have silently become a part of our daily lives. Experts who claim we don't need to detoxify also don't understand that the very high-fat diets people consume daily, whether they appear in conventional eating, balanced restrictive diets, intuitive eating, trendy paleo or keto diets, or plant-based diets focusing on nut butters, nuts, vegetable oils, and soy, prevent the natural detoxification process they refer to from occurring. Fat thickens the blood, which hinders the body's daily cleansing ability. Many influential figures, nutritionists, dietitians, health coaches, doctors, and other health professionals even encourage high-protein diets, unaware that high protein inherently means high fat, because peanut butter, nuts, seeds, salmon, eggs, and chicken are all abundant in fat. With such advice, they themselves are impeding the natural detoxification processes they mention, which effectively help us survive. We cannot have it both ways. We cannot allow people to clog their blood vessels with fat and disable the liver's natural daily detoxification function, while simultaneously claiming we don't need to detoxify or cleanse. Footnotes: Paleo diet. A diet that mimics the eating habits of prehistoric humans, rich in protein and fiber, avoiding processed foods and emphasizing direct natural foods. Keto diet or ketogenic, a low-carb, high-fat diet considered healthy. 32. The body heals itself. Detox for recovery, no matter how healthy a recommended diet appears, by eliminating fast food, fried foods, and processed foods. as long as it remains high in fat and protein, regardless of whether it's plant-based or animal-based, or whatever it's called, keto, paleo, vegan, or any new meat, will still make the liver sluggish due to fat overload. In this information chaos, people need to hold on to at least one correct piece of information. That keeping the blood from thickening by eating plenty of fruits and vegetables while minimizing fat intake is the only way for us to effectively eliminate toxins that the body produces as byproducts and natural waste from internal processes, without having to worry about daily exposure to external toxins. When the liver is sluggish due to fat, the heart has to pump harder. Blood vessels filled with fat also reduce oxygen flow, creating conditions for pathogens to thrive. This leads to more toxins entering cells already burdened with excess fat, which in turn causes fat to accumulate around the internal organs of those who don't spend 2 hours exercising daily like they did in their youth, at which point, simply eliminating processed foods from the diet won't be enough to prevent a layer of fat from developing around the waist. Health professionals don't realize that an epidemic of sluggish livers is occurring, and as a result, for years they have been blaming slow metabolism and hormones instead of high-fat diets. Worse yet, many influential individuals and health professionals who claim to expose detox illusions often don't understand the struggles of those with chronic illnesses. They don't understand the ordeal of going from one doctor to another, receiving diagnosis after diagnosis, or repeatedly receiving no diagnosis at all and still not finding a solution to get well. These are precisely the people who genuinely need detoxification. They need to understand the truth about pathogens and heavy metals, as well as how to eliminate them from their bodies to escape their chronic symptoms and suffering. Anthony William, 33. Imagine yourself in the shoes of someone with a chronic illness, or perhaps you already know this situation all too well. How do you feel when you see social media broadcasts of someone who spends 1-2 hours exercising daily and has a lean, fat-free body? How do you feel when people tell you that you can be like them if you just get off the couch, go to the gym, and start making protein smoothies like theirs? How do you feel when people tell you that your lack of health is merely self-imposed, a barrier created by your emotional issues and negative thoughts, that you must not be thinking positively enough or aligning with the universe as you should? This is what everyone is being told. They're told they don't need to detox. They just need to participate in a mind mastery program. They're told they are creating their own problems and illnesses, that it's their fault. This causes a segment of the population, those facing chronic symptoms, to doubt their own sanity. So, is detoxification an illusion? Not at all. It is an indispensable tool for anyone concerned about their health. It is a profoundly real technique to contend with the burdens imposed by the modern world, provided you approach it correctly. Lifestyle or life preservation, even when viewed with more respect, detoxification still isn't fully understood in its true significance. The current trend considers detoxification a short-term activity of little value, believing that lifestyle somehow holds more power and is more enduring. You should adopt a holistic lifestyle. People are advised to make your life better. Lifestyles tend to focus on image, often involving comfortable shopping, if affordable. Typically, lifestyles revolve around material possessions, choosing a certain type of handbag, wearing certain clothes, driving a certain Karen sometimes, focusing on a hobby or sport. Gradually, many lifestyles have shifted towards health. 34. The body heals itself. Detox for recovery aerobics classes were the initial trend. Then came yoga, Pilates, and indoor cycling, combined with seemingly healthy supplements or flashy foods, integrated into these lifestyles. How ironic that lifestyles tend to change rapidly in image and perspective. They simply build a brand and then call that brand a lifestyle. Despite the clear truth that many people get sick and develop symptoms and conditions that baffle many doctors, only to later realize that no matter what lifestyle they choose, it doesn't make their problems go away or prevent illness from the outset. Lifestyles aren't meant to achieve anything, not even in the fundamental and genuine matter of detoxifying toxins and pathogens. Lifestyles are solely aimed at building a platform and business operation until their owner turns that lifestyle into a full-time profession. This is a completely different endeavor from the process of expelling toxins, viruses, and bacteria that have made you sick for years. When observing a lifestyle in the short term, we can easily be deceived into thinking that what we see at the moment is the truth, rather than merely what people showcase to protect their brand. If you follow these individuals on social media over the long term, you'll see how many things begin to become misleading and how perspectives change. If you track them over 5-10 years, or even longer, you'll witness their problems developing. By then, you might exclaim, "Why didn't that protein shake, almond butter, or gluten-free toast with avocados save them from their current symptoms?" The answer is, because the lifestyles they adopted didn't address the root causes of their chronic health issues. If the real problems in the body aren't dealt with, it's just a game that everyone participates in, something they intentionally join or inadvertently get drawn into. Lifestyle is a guessing game. It makes guesses about our health by using a large amount of misleading information that is being spread. The detoxification methods in this book, as well as in other books in the Body Heals Itself series, will reveal what is truly wrong within the body that no trendy lifestyle can address, because the truth about what is happening inside us remains a mystery to those who create these lifestyles. Anthony William, 35, in today's life, no matter what lifestyle people pursue, they will still fall ill. Humanity, forgive the comparison, will drop like flies. Symptoms will immediately hinder people, causing them to collapse and forcing them to redesign their lives around the feeling of sickness. Even if people cling to the seemingly best eating trends, cook aesthetically pleasing meals, and make photogenic smoothies at home, while also eliminating processed foods from their diet, they will still succumb to symptoms and chronic illnesses at an unprecedented rate in human history. Lifestyles cannot save them. Lifestyles do not solve the problems that are making people sick. They are not derived from knowledge, data, or understanding of what genuinely causes illness for anyone, hindering them from living the lives they deserve. They do not address the presence of pesticides or heavy metals deep within organs, viral activity in the body, compromised immune systems, or emotional trauma. They do not solve the mystery of why people get sick. You might be in your 30s sharing photos of your elevated adrenaline levels taken in front of the gym mirror, or your runs across lush hills. But that doesn't mean things will always be that way. It doesn't mean that in 2 years, Hashimoto's thyroiditis won't develop and force you onto your bed, as it has done to thousands of other male and female patients, right when everything seemed perfectly fine. Sharing beautiful photos of balanced food plates doesn't mean ME/CEPs won't suddenly strike. And when we look back, we're forced to reevaluate everything we've heard. Those who haven't yet fallen ill will continue to spread misinformation. Instead of questioning their own message, they will believe that those who became ill before them did so because they did something wrong, or because their bodies were flawed. Patients with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, or ME/EFs, are far too often made to feel like failures or losers. 36. The body heals itself. Detox for recovery. Perhaps they're following the wrong diet, or their conventional thinking is at fault. Perhaps they're dealing with emotional issues and are imagining or self-inducing symptoms because they refuse to think positively. Perhaps the problem lies within themselves. Society maintains a survival of the fittest mentality, which can fuel a frenzied hunger within the healing arts community. Amplified by social media, the sharks will survive, and others will become their prey. We forget that we are all on the same side. We forget that we are all potential victims of chronic illness, whether it's Hashimoto's thyroiditis, ME/EFs, or any of hundreds of other afflictions. Especially when young and without prior health challenges, we tend to believe we've found the ultimate secret, following every trendy new lifestyle. We don't realize that we are repeating the very same mistakes of generations past and present, regardless of whether we're trying high-protein, high-fat diets, avoiding fruit, or exercising obsessively. No matter what we call these diets, plant-based, paleo, new keto, or high-fat, it's incredibly easy to assume we know more than others who have tried them and are suffering. All of this pales in comparison to the consequences it has created over the past few years. It's becoming increasingly chaotic. The image we see of what people are doing for their health is increasingly appealing and misleading to those who are beginning their healing journey. seeking solutions for their symptoms and condition. A promising young influencer sends us videos and podcasts that claim to solve all our problems. The potential for misinformation is very high because the creators of these videos and podcasts are simply repeating what dietitians, coaches, or friends tell them, or theories they read in newspapers. Then these messages are distorted and praised as truth. Those who have endured chronic health issues for months, even years, possess true knowledge, especially those who have tried every possible way to improve their health, but are still struggling with their symptoms. They realize that each of us is very vulnerable, just as much as healthy people want to believe otherwise. Anthony William, 37. Ill individuals can observe those who appear to be living life to the fullest with broad vision. And it is this vantage point that allows them to truly understand the fragile balance of life. Even if they doubt themselves when faced with countless messages calling them weak or flawed, they still possess a profound knowledge that can enlighten us all, if we are willing to listen. No patient deserves to suffer from illness. The story doesn't end there. And indeed, the story doesn't end there. There's still much we don't know about protecting our health and healing. There are still many simple truths we haven't dared to believe. A superior approach to lifestyle is needed to resolve and heal these issues. There must be a book that contains the truth and solutions, as well as guidance to lead us out of the depths of struggle and into the light of healing. Therefore, this cannot be a book about lifestyle. It is a book about life. It is not meant to build a brand. It is meant to build your recovery process. It is not meant to sell you a detox product with matching outfits to create a personal lifestyle. Amidst countless false truths, this is a life-saving book. Even though each detox might seem like a short-term plan, the challenging task related to the 9-day 3-6-9 cleanse cornerstone of this book will provide long-term benefits. These detoxification plans can be applied throughout your life. They hold the secrets to restoring your health, to rising from the ashes of any illness that strikes you, to achieving true happiness, and a genuine solution for survival on this increasingly harsh planet. Even 50 years from now, no matter what condition you are in, they will always be there as your salvation. Survival through fewer toxins. Here are some perspectives for you. Anyone who is incredibly fortunate to be born with minimal toxins, and thus possesses stronger health, and then later in life does not contract many viruses like others. 38. The body heals itself. Detox for recovery. Perhaps this fortunate circumstance means they carry fewer heavy metal toxins in their bodies compared to others. Perhaps the people they interact with through relationships have fewer pathogens to spread or transmit. Perhaps their family lineage carries slightly fewer toxins because their ancestors grew up on farms rather than in cities during the Industrial Revolution, thus having fewer generational toxins passed down. Perhaps they grew up with very little stress because they had all the resources they needed and strong emotional support from their family. That's not survival of the fittest. That's the survival of those born with fewer toxins, coupled with abundant love, support, and resources, all considered and then by chance, continue that way throughout their lives. It's a stroke of luck derived from the resources their ancestors possessed, from the minimal exposures their ancestors endured, and from the privileges they themselves experienced. Love and support to protect their adrenal glands, less exposure to everyday toxins, and fewer viruses and bacteria throughout life. These are the fortunate ones who dominate health trends and social media. Often, they are nurtured with immense self-confidence, and perhaps even some special privileges, eagerly dispensing advice as if protein smoothies or gym routines are what protect them and earn them profit. People in this position often claim they are working for humanity, for the universe, for enlightenment. They package their good health with the profits they earn through various platforms and strive to proclaim that all the positive things that come to them are because of the good deeds they do for humanity. This new tactic has an unfortunate consequence. It makes you feel that if you are sick, not earning money, unable to take care of yourself, or overcome your symptoms, then you are not doing good and are useless. A class of healthy elites is forming, with influential figures proclaiming they deserve to be rewarded tenfold for the gift they give to humanity when sharing messages about the keto diet or exercise routines as a grand revelation. Once again, millions of people are struggling with very real problems that are not properly diagnosed treated, or understood, leaving them feeling that they are not positive enough, not acting correctly, so the universe isn't rewarding them. Anthony William, 39. They think less about themselves because they are told it's not beneficial, that they must believe messages saying they are attracting negative things and creating their own problems. They are not told the truth, that there are real physiological root causes, viruses and pathogens, plus toxins and poisons silently spreading in the world and in our bloodlines behind the epidemic of mysterious and chronic symptoms. Only luck saves famous and influential people from such struggles. I continue to emphasize this point because the toxic notion that those who are not stuck with chronic symptoms understand life's secrets better than those deeply rooted in our culture of illness needs to be reiterated and reiterated again. If you've ever been bedridden, looking at pictures of waterfalls, beaches, or someone's avocado protein smoothie bowl, and wondering where you went wrong while stuck on a tiny, isolated cushion island, remember, you are not wrong. You are not lost. You are not flawed or worthless. The truth is, life circumstances, along with inherited toxins and pathogens, not inner weakness, determine the challenges we face. Each of us experiences a multi-generational health backstory. Those who are fortunate to be born with fewer toxins experience fewer pharmaceutical injuries in their youth and continue to escape serious problems due to chance, are not immune. We cannot escape if we are born with a sluggish liver or heavy metal toxins passed down from previous generations through bloodlines they couldn't escape either. Or if we are exposed to viruses to the extent that it makes us more vulnerable due to a lack of support or financial stability that damages our immune systems. Our health is not a fixed stat in any aspect. Even those fortunate for decades can face health challenges due to exposure at any time. Similarly, those suffering from health issues can change their fate. The key is to understand how prevention and healing truly work. 40. The body heals itself. Detox for recovery. Before understanding whether a detoxification plan is necessary or effective, or which one is appropriate, we must first recognize the truth. Otherwise, we'll just be swimming in a chaotic ocean of medically unsubstantiated claims and truths that are clearly undiscoverable. There's no reason to blame anyone for any of this. We shouldn't resent anyone for their good health. Influential figures are just as scared as the rest of the world, and most of them genuinely believe they're doing well. They don't want to believe that there are many health threats to us because such advanced awareness is deeply unsettling. And then there are influential people who face health issues but tell the masses they control symptoms and conditions by changing diet and exercise. While this approach might offer them temporary relief and cause health issues to come and go, it doesn't work for many others because it's simply a guessing game that never reveals the true root cause. Only a true understanding of the root cause can help them heal and teach others how to eliminate symptoms. Worse than comprehending the health threats in life is the misery of illness without understanding why. It's incredibly exhausting to try to figure out what works and what doesn't. It's incredibly exhausting to strive for results and either get none or have them slip away. It's incredibly exhausting to pour vast sums of money into every hope. This situation can leave you devastated and confused, even if you're on the right track, because conflicting claims out there make you doubt what you're doing. The chronic fatigue you're trying to alleviate can worsen due to the exhaustion of trying to find solutions. When you finally find salvation in effective information, when you finally understand how to apply it to move forward and heal, it will be a very special feeling. It's a feeling of real existence, achievable. You don't necessarily need a positive attitude to achieve it. You can be stubborn, miserable, negative, dejected, bitter, or even angry, yet still experience that feeling, because when you walk in the right direction, your body will rapidly gain strength and help you progress towards the goal of healing. Anthony William, 41. The food war when it comes to food. There's a myriad of misinformation out there. We can even call it a smokescreen. This smokescreen is created to trap people and obscure the truth, and these food wars are part of that smokescreen. By food war, I mean the conflicting belief systems surrounding food. You understand what I'm getting at. Claims that eating this way is better or more ethical, while eating that way is foolish or ignorant. All these claims stem from a guessing game and consciousness concepts, not from truth. These wars often hinder discussions about detoxification. If we get caught up in resentment towards another group, if we become distracted by obsessively defending our own philosophy while trying to undermine the opposing side's philosophy, then we will miss everything that's truly happening within our bodies and will never have time to find the answers. The loudest voices in the food war are those who are rarely sick. They are the ones with enough energy to debate plant-based versus animal protein, whole grains versus no grains, or fruit elimination versus only low-glycemic fruit, and they attack anyone who doesn't share their belief system. To defend their claims, they tend to loudly cite scientific studies funded by sources that profit from those research results, because they are completely unaware of those who have seen 20 doctors and are still bedridden without answers as to why they are sick. Perhaps they also notice some minor health issue, as sometimes they feel less energetic than usual, or they have mild eczema or cystic acne, face exhaustion after exercise, might catch a cold or cough more often than normal, or deal with bloating or minor digestive issues that necessitate using an antibiotic. Footnote: Glycemic index (GI) is a measure of how quickly the carbohydrates in a food are converted into glucose by the body. A lower GI means the food has less impact on blood sugar. G55 is considered low. 42. The body heals itself. Detox for recovery. Any of the above can prompt someone to consider healthier eating. And at some point in their dietary research journey, they become loyal adherents of a belief system to the point of being willing to attack opposing factions. Meanwhile, all factions involved in the food war are still sick. What these perpetual debates ignore is that millions of people are struggling with illnesses, whether it's thyroid disorders, ME/FSFs, fibromyalgia, Lyme disease, multiple sclerosis MS, eczema, psoriasis, cystic acne, endometriosis, polycystic ovarian syndrome PCOS, uterine fibroids, excessive anxiety or depression, or any of hundreds of other diagnosed or undiagnosed conditions. Just like any war on this planet, the smokescreen has made people forget the suffering of those too weak to participate in the conflict. Balanced, moderate, and intuitive eating. Balanced diet. You'll hear this phrase everywhere, as if it's a prescriptive guide to eating. This diet is expected to be a great wisdom when it comes to food. Ironically, each individual has a different definition of a balanced diet, because no one eats in exactly the same way. A balanced diet sounds like a proper, customary standard for human healthcare. Nevertheless, consider this. Which authority truly defines the elements that constitute a balanced diet? Is a balanced diet one that includes various types of food? Is it a blend of fruits, vegetables, proteins, and fats? Everyone has their own interpretation, but not a single interpretation addresses how we define a balanced diet when we still don't know the true root cause of autoimmune diseases and the hundreds of diagnostic labels assigned to symptoms and conditions under the umbrella of autoimmune. Who, be it a health professional or anyone else, has the authority to declare that you are following an unbalanced diet? Anthony William, 43, or who is qualified to introduce a balanced diet when they themselves are still lost in darkness, along with all the medical research on why someone gets sick and how they can recover. Removing processed foods from the diet and adding vegetables, nuts, and seeds is simply a guessing game, not an answer. Before making a firm argument about a balanced diet, one needs to truly understand chronic illness. Everyone has different emotional connections or disconnections with food. They eat what they believe is a healthy diet, but don't realize that the everything in moderation advice they were taught from childhood is what leads to their food choices becoming highly inconsistent, creating space for unhealthy foods and displacing nutrient-dense foods. Or they will express on social media that certain foods should be avoided in the name of a balanced diet, without explaining to the public the actual reasons why they avoid them. For example, they avoid fruits or potatoes because their acquaintances mistakenly told them sugar is sugar whenever they encountered any form of carbohydrate, and since then, they feel guilty about all starches, even healthy ones. People constantly change their eating habits, sometimes monthly, because they are constantly searching for the right way to eat. Those who claim I eat intuitively, that's how I stay healthy, ultimately suffer from the exact same illnesses. Statements like, "My body craves eggs," are merely justifications for cravings, without understanding how those foods impact health. Intuitive eating does not equate to understanding what causes one's symptoms or conditions. All of us are exposed to ambiguous food messages in our early years and difficult circumstances related to food, such as not having enough food, not having enough money to buy fresh fruits and vegetables, criticism from family members, diseases affecting digestive capacity, or societal values and ideals. At some point in life, this personal summation condenses and forms the foundation of our thinking about food. And then, we continue to be exposed to media, trends, opinions, beliefs, theories, and life situations built upon that foundation. 44. The body heals itself. Detox for recovery. Our relationship with food is a natural animal instinct, as our survival revolves around food. We are not alone. Our super-awareness of what foods to eat is inherent in human nature, and we don't need to be ashamed of it. We don't need to punish ourselves for what we eat. We also don't need to punish ourselves for worrying about what we eat. What we need to realize is that, among all the factors influencing our relationship with food, very little truth exists, because we are not told the truth about how to nourish ourselves for long-term health, or what a healthy detox diet looks like. Hint: a healthy detox is not about starvation or self-flagellation. Everything out there is just a guessing game where even the experts teaching others about a balanced diet aren't sure what that diet looks like for themselves. Animal protein and plant protein. Amidst the chaotic and misleading information about protein, you'll often hear about two main schools of thought: animal protein and plant protein. The plant protein faction is much smaller. It's truly a tiny player compared to the scale of the animal protein faction. However, those who advocate for plant protein are staunch believers until they start experiencing some symptoms and feel that life has punished them for their plant-based diet. When feeling overwhelmed, they quickly surrender and switch to the opposing side. Simultaneously, those in the animal protein camp also suffer from many symptoms, no less. The difference is that animal protein isn't scrutinized as heavily as plant protein. No one in the mainstream goes around dissecting their diet or blaming it as the cause of their illness. They are exempt from having to consider whether the foods they eat are related to their personal health issues. Those who follow plant-based diets do not have this exemption. From the very first moment they face exhaustion, brain fog, pain, or any other symptom, their diet will be blamed. Anthony William, 45. Sadly, not only do meat eaters blame plant eaters for their illnesses due to their plant-based diet, the plant-based faction itself quickly loses loyalty to fruits and vegetables and readily believes the claims made by the animal protein faction. Both of these factions, at least, are considered to be healthier than those following conventional diets. Both avoid processed foods, fried foods, and most grains. Both tend to believe in the philosophy of the keto school of theory that much fat is good, and carbohydrates should be limited, if not eliminated entirely. And neither faction applies proper methods for detoxification and cleansing. Neither the animal protein nor the plant protein camps truly understand the actual causes of today's symptoms and illnesses. Neither camp realizes that a lack of protein is unrelated to why someone feels unwell or gets sick. Neither camp holds true scientific evidence to support their beliefs. Mainstream medicine currently does not believe in plant-based eating trends, nor does it believe in high-fat, high-protein diets. Mainstream medicine has never believed that food is behind illness. Although you will see many studies on food's important role in specific cases like type 2 diabetes, medical schools currently do not focus on teaching that food is behind conditions and illnesses, even when their own students pay attention to it. Therefore, it's understandable that everyone is confused about detoxification and cleansing. It's understandable that health professionals spread the false belief that the body will fully perform its daily detoxification processes if you follow a balanced diet. Misinformation about the causes of health issues has been out of control from the very beginning. How can people know the truth about solving the hidden root causes of illness through specialized detoxification if they haven't experienced or witnessed it firsthand? 46. The body heals itself. Detox for recovery. Respect the chaos surrounding food means that when family, friends, or even strangers see you doing a detox, they might be skeptical and try to dissuade you. In some cases, with certain trendy detox methods, this skepticism and discouragement might even be wise advice. There are many bad detox methods out there, but you might still face skepticism when applying the correct detox methods from this book or when using information from the Body Heals Itself series in your life. Because detoxification has a long history of misinformation, it's understandable that fear continues to surround terms like detox or cleanse. And it's also understandable that loved ones try to protect you because they have never been given the correct knowledge about what our bodies have to contend with and what causes illness. Many people with symptoms or diagnosed conditions face immense pressure when loved ones force them to go from one doctor to another and adhere to a lifestyle inherently defined for the sick. That pressure might involve having to eat in a specific way, such as relying on popular comfort foods, or ensuring enough fat or protein in their diet, whether animal or plant protein. This pressure can discourage you, make you give up, or lead you astray, as it often does. When you find a healing opportunity, people will constantly criticize you. You might hear comments like, "Are you trying another detox method again?" They might not believe, and you yourself might not believe, that after all this is truly the answer. Or perhaps they themselves had a bad experience with a detoxification method or an extravagant diet that someone invented, not based on the truth of how the body eliminates toxins and viruses. Perhaps that detox or diet left a bitter taste, I'm speaking metaphorically, and pushed them toward even worse eating habits in a rebellious fit. They don't realize that the detoxification methods in the Body Heals Itself series come from a higher source and that they can be stubborn, miserable, negative, dejected, bitter, or even angry, yet still experience that feeling. Because when you walk in the right direction, your body will rapidly gain strength and help you progress towards the goal of healing. Footnote: comfort food is a type of food that brings a sense of comfort to the consumer whenever they are sad or anxious, often sweet foods or foods they ate as children. Anthony William, 47, will address the true root causes of illness. If we stubbornly defend ourselves due to repeated disappointments, sometimes we won't be ready to recognize the truth when it arrives. Those who are concerned when you start trying a detox method from this book don't understand that it is a specialized detox tailored for specific issues. They are also influenced by trendy misinformation and even outdated advice that everything in moderation is still common. They don't know you are going through a critical health moment. They don't understand the beat of your healing craving. When you still feel fine or are ignoring your symptoms, it's very easy to misunderstand those who are sick and what they are going through. Unless you are a family member or loved one, daily witnessing their struggles. Unless you sit with them in waiting room after waiting room during their appointments, trying to keep their spirits clear and strong, even when they are enduring another day of barely being able to get off the bench, supporting them in every way possible, even descending into the abyss with them, or literally pulling them back up, only then do you truly understand that this battle is real. Your heart aches seeing the worry and weariness in their eyes as they desperately search for answers to their chronic illness. You will live their story alongside them. Everyone has a different threshold for health issues. One person might be furious over a single symptom, like cystic acne that causes pain and embarrassment, making them not want to go out. For another, it might be brain fog that causes deep anxiety because it prevents them from completing tasks requiring high concentration, like homework or their to-do list. Some continue to live with pain or fatigue without worrying because they consider it normal or a part of aging. Others have to endure too many, if not dozens, of symptoms at once. They might even reach a state of appearing very calm from the outside, as if it's a coping mechanism for being overwhelmed by having to endure everything at once. Everyone has a unique way of dealing with abnormal health changes, and all are valid and justified. 48. The Body Heals Itself. Detox for recovery. We should respect everyone who is suffering from any health issue. Many years ago, the world was educated about conditions like cerebral palsy, strokes, muscular dystrophy, stuttering, speech disorders, Down syndrome, and other speech difficulties, so we could learn how to show respect. Today, we are in a new world, And we need to elevate this education because almost everyone is dealing with some symptom or condition, whether severe or mild. In addition to understanding and respecting those with disabilities and disorders we already know, we also need to respect those who are daily struggling with chronic symptoms for which they haven't received answers about the cause. When someone begins to feel unwell, the respect they receive from those around them tends to decrease, unless they are elderly, in which case, people consider it normal or a child. For those falling between these two groups, there seems to be a class division. One class of the sick and one class of the not too sick. We are being divided. Chronic illness is hidden, dismissed, or ignored, while those who hide their illness must appear perfectly fine and keep their struggles secret so colleagues don't suspect and report them to their boss. We are living in an era where we will truly be punished for personal symptoms, an era where we are taught that we have no self-respect if we don't achieve optimal performance and present our best selves. Yet medical research isn't criticized for failing to find answers explaining why so many people are suffering from chronic illnesses. Instead, patients themselves face criticism for being sick. They are told or made to feel that their illness is their fault in one way or another. Because science has not yet discovered the physiological root causes of the current epidemic of mysterious chronic illnesses, people are left abandoned in their search for proper answers. That's why the trend suggesting that health is an expression of one's innate being has taken hold. In the absence of information, in an era of self-help and autoimmune theories, blaming patients for their own illness is easily accepted. This is why some people begin to believe that their own innate being has attracted symptoms, that they've brought them upon themselves because of laziness, not generating proper energy, not thinking positively, or that deep in their psyche, choose to remain ill, or they believe their own body is letting them down or rebelling against them, thereby robbing countless people of their self-trust. Anthony William, 49. Ultimately, in the future, everyone will develop symptoms or conditions they can empathize with, helping people feel safer when disclosing their health issues. But for now, those who have never struggled with or suffered from illness, or have never been part of a patient support system, or have never had to desperately seek solutions at any cost, will lack the lived experience to understand the truth. However, if you are currently suffering from an illness or have been close to someone who is, you will understand. You deserve to trust yourself again. You deserve to respect yourself again. The time has come. With the healing steps in this book, you will access the hidden capacity for recovery within your body and learn how to implement them precisely.